Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly bump for January 10th. Thank you so much for being here. So as always, we have 3 piles. We're going to be using aura quartz today. We have a purple, we have a yellow, and we have an orange aura quartz. So as always, you get to just pick a pile, right? Some people feel more intuitively drawn than others. If you're that type of person, then feel free to take a moment, pause the video if you need to allow yourself to be pulled or called toward one pile or the other. If you're not so much intuitively drawn to piles, that's perfectly fine. You can always just randomly select a pile, and chances are there will be something useful in that message for you. Timestamps will be in the description box in the comment thread down below. Thank you guys so much. See you in a sec. Hello, pile number 1. You guys selected the purple aura quartz. I'm going to put this over here so Miss Annie doesn't get excited and start playing with it. So we have the Magician, the Knight of Coins, the King of Coins, Page of Swords, 2 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups. Okay. Well, you're definitely in creation mode with the Magician. You seem to be making things happen. You seem to be making moves. The one thing that I'm not seeing, I'm not feeling a lot of glamour. And I don't know if that's because Venus is in retrograde in Capricorn, right? Or, let's turn back the clock just a couple months, if you will. I remember talking ad nauseum about how structure and laying foundations were so important, and that was essentially what was happening. And laying a foundation is not a pretty job, right? I mean, it gets really ugly, it gets really dirty, it doesn't look anything close to what you're trying to build, but it is essential. And I feel like there's this continuation of that foundation energy, building that foundation. I feel like there's been a lot of fluctuation with the Knight of Coins, with the Page of Swords. You know, these are not the most stable, but with the King of Coins in the center, there does seem to be, it's like for the sake of stability, a lot of fluctuation going on around the idea or the notion or the goal of what you're trying to achieve here, okay? That the goal is remaining very stable and steady here. I think the King of Coins is the goal in one interpretation, although I'm going to pull in the energy of another person here in just a minute. But there is something stuck in your head. Star in the very center of your head, right? There's an idea. It's not going to budge. And because you have put that out there in the universe, you have the desire, you have the inkling, you have the inspiration to move in that direction. Because you have that, of course, there are going to be fluctuations and adjustments that are needed. And unfortunately, I don't think that's the most beautiful work right now. I think that it is, has to do with your money situation, your expenses, has to do with hiring certain types of people, has to do with outsourcing or requesting things of your children or your spouse, and like really making sure that, that you are vocalizing Page of Swords, you are expressing yourself in terms of what your needs truly are, especially with the 2 of Cups. Chances are that will be very well received. When you say, hey, I really am needing you to do X, Y, and Z because I'm taking care of A, B, and C. And if we can each do our part, then we can even propel this forward even faster. I don't feel that it's necessarily like drudgery. I think that you are excited to do these kinds of things because you're excited about where these things are taking you. Right? It's not about the things right in front of you, but it's like, okay, well, if I can get this done, then it means that that other thing is more possible, or it means I'm even that much closer to that other thing. Now, I also feel that this King of Coins, I feel that this is actually the energy of another person. I feel like you're a little bit more leaning toward the Knight of Coins energy because it seems active. I feel like you're active. And with Mars still in Sagittarius, there are directions, we are kind of on par there. So I feel like this is a little bit more you. This King of Coins is someone who I sense is very good at what they do. They're knowledgeable and they have something, right? I don't know what it is, but they have something that you need in order for you to get where you need to go. Okay. So let's say let's say you own a company and you have to hire someone to handle, the bookkeeping, right? This is someone who handles the bookkeeping and they have what you need at this time in order to propel your business forward. Okay. Because you can't run a business without bookkeeping, right? So think of that as an essential. And I see this King of Coins as an essential. I feel like you're going to be on the same page. Each person's roles are going to be highly defined. You've got yours, they've got theirs. It's a very clear line in the sand. There's no confusion. And there's no confusion really about ultimately where this is all going either. Because with the Eight of Cups, this is a suggestion that says you're moving on. You're leaving or shedding your skin, which is not a glamorous process. It's a highly vulnerable process. There's a lot of, shakeups that can happen. You can get physically ill. You can have a lot of chaos in your life. You can have something not go right, whatever it is. But this transition, you've been in this transition mode for quite some time, at least since Scorpio season, at least, because we've been talking about it since then. And that's usually the time of massive transformation. That's usually the time when things are shaken up, maybe even before that. But you're on the way. And the universe has placed this King of Coins in your life very specifically and very strategically. And I feel that this is a relationship that you each can leverage, right? It's beneficial for both of you. It's not just you're using them or whatever. It's you both get to bring something quality to the table so that you both can get to go where you need to go. And I feel like this is like a two heads are greater than one or two minds are greater than one type of scenario. Things will get done faster. Look, I'm going to tell you one thing because I'm seeing the coin energy, and I know I posted a poll on my Instagram last week that said how many of you are dealing with expenses at the beginning of 2022, and it was like something like 89% of people who responded to the poll were like, yeah, I've incurred a lot of expenses. It's only January, like the first week of January, right? This is Venus retrograde, and I mentioned it before a couple months ago as well. Like, don't worry about money going out. Look, if you have to send money out for something, okay, don't think so much about the money going out so much as what you're getting. Like, what are you getting? Are you getting a car repair? Is your house needing something? Are your children needing something? Is your spouse needing something, right? It's ultimately always a gain. And with Jupiter in Pisces, we want to think of everything as being beneficial for us. We want to think of everything as being something that makes a positive difference in our life. Okay? Well, there we go. We got Pisces. I believe. And you can believe whatever you want. That's what's so beautiful about belief. I'm not talking about delusion. I'm talking about belief as one of the premier ingredients on the magician's table here. Right? When a magician chooses to believe that something is good or to believe that something is going to beget better results or whatever it is, it catalyzes the process and it makes it a lot less pain or a lot more painless, if you will. It doesn't come with the energy of restriction and fear and lack and scarcity. It comes with the energy of abundance. So be very careful about what it is that you're believing right now, because whatever is going out is meant to go out to create space for what is about to come in. All right? The end of a tough cycle approaches. Yeah. And I think that many of you, you did get hit hard at the end of 2021 in different ways. Some of you financially, others of you romantically, others of you financial. Did I say financially? Whatever. Career, like whatever it is. Some of you like, wow, you got, like the change happened, right? The upgrade happened, the evolution happened, and it's not always easy. And I think that you're starting to ease off of the sharp edge of what happened. And you're starting to believe that it is moving you in a positive direction, 8 of Cups. And I think that you're starting to align with people that are going to help speed all of this stuff up, bring love into the situation. And I love that for, well, I mean, just in general, but I know that we have the Jupiter in Pisces, even though this is technically a new moon in Aquarius card, but still the quality of love here. It's not just, I know that in like, especially American culture, we talk so much about love and it's always romantic love. Everything just gets slammed into that corner of romantic love. But there's so many other kinds of love and so many different ways to express it and so many different ways to truly feel it. And I think that even if you have an uncomfortable transitionary something going on, to love the process, to love the feeling, to love the energy that comes through with that, even if it's difficult or even if it's somewhat low vibrational, the love and the belief is what makes it something. It's what makes it meaningful. It's what makes it ultimately good. Okay? Refusing to see. And then we have joy and stability. I'm wondering if this is a temptation. Like maybe you're caught here between two ways of thought. On one hand, you could believe and see the good, right? This is about choosing your perception. And then there's that part of you that doesn't want to see that. There's the part of you that wants to be victimized by the situation, that wants to be in that place of lack for whatever reason. It's not that you really want that. I don't think that's really what you want. But it's the temptation to do that, the temptation to feel afraid. I think that's perfectly natural and perfectly human. It's just a matter of acknowledging that part of you so that it doesn't win, right? Because this is probably the part of you that's trying to protect itself, that's trying to make good, smart, rational decisions. But right now, I don't know that laying this foundation, which is really important for 2022 and beyond, I don't know that laying this foundation is really all that scary. In the grand scheme of all the things, it's not scary. And I think taking a moment to appreciate, right, your own joy and your own, like you are very stable right now where you are. Understanding that and acknowledging that would be beneficial for you with your belief here, okay? Sometimes we try to trick ourselves in thinking of how up in the air everything is when really that's just simply not the case. It's all very direct. This is all because you're creating something, magician. That's the whole point of all of this. And sometimes when we're creating something and it has certain effects, we don't make that correlation. Like, oh, I'm creating this thing and this effect seems so completely unrelated, but it's not, because when we ultimately, hindsight 2020, when we get down the road and we look back, we're like, oh yeah, that had to happen. So why can't we have faith in that process when we're in the process? Why is it so much easier to have faith in that process when we're on the other side of it looking backwards? Right? Just have faith. It's all going to be perfect. Player. Now, we also have an ex involved. I don't think the King of Coins is your ex, by the way. Okay? We know, and I hate to be that person who continually perpetuates the whole like, oh, your ex coming back, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, although there are a lot of Saturn's involved, Capricorn's involved, Pluto is involved. So any type of loose ends with your karma, definitely getting to confront those things right now. This is about looking forward. And I think the King of Coins represents forward motion. The King of Coins, for some reason, I'm getting an energy of obscurity. Like this King of Coins is not the obvious person. It's not the obvious person. It's not the obviously your spouse. It's not obviously the people that have like main roles in your life. It's like the people who are around you that you don't really think of all the time. This person's role, this ex-person's role, I'm getting a feeling that they haven't changed. So if that's something that comes up for you guys, it hasn't changed. Refusing to see, right? Refusing to see that they haven't changed, being in that denial. There may be a temptation of that. Although I don't see you truly going down that road, the temptation will be there, that part of you that wants to preserve itself. Honestly, this is about self-honesty. Where you are headed is so much more beautiful than this sort of karmic mess, right? It's so much more beautiful than the pain. And I saw something I shared on Instagram as well, and it was so beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to remember this, because we need to start asking our higher selves to teach us lessons through joy rather than through suffering. And I think this is that choice point. This is that moment of contrast where we can start saying, I want lessons from joy and from laughter and from deep love. And I want lessons from progress and lessons from inspiration. I don't want lessons from fear and stress and all that stuff, right? I want lessons in the good. And I think by asking your higher self for that, the universe will place the past option in front of you as kind of like are you sure? Are you sure you're ready for that? And I think your answer is going to be yes. We have this bring your ideas to life, the electric eel spirit. Definitely yes. Yes, you are ready. Yes, you are primed. Yes, you are excited about that. There's something so much bigger than you that is channeling through you right now, which is why I don't see a lot of worry, especially with the financial realm. I don't see you viewing loss as being that big of a deal. Because your faith in how this all works is so strong and has been reinforced over the past couple of years. So keep going, keep creating. I think that you're going to have a wonderful result of what you're doing, even though there may be a temptation from the past. I don't see you biting. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You know I love you. Have a great week. Take care. All right, pile number 2, you guys selected the yellow aura quartz. I'm going to put this over here so Miss Annie does not get all hyper with it. Okay, so we've got the 5 of Swords, the Empress, the 5 of Wands, Hanged Man, Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. Wow, okay. Your demeanor is so like rock star. I can't even believe it, because I feel like there's going to be a little bit of drama. 5 of Swords, 5 of Wands, I don't know, at work, the family, with the kids, whatever. Still a little bit of drama, not a big deal. maybe an argument, maybe a miscommunication, maybe logistics don't quite go well, maybe an issue with traveling, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius kind of thing. Fine, to be expected, no big deal. Uranus preparing to go direct, so he can throw in some volatility there as well, plus the nodes getting ready to transition. So we've got stuff on the docket, astrologically speaking, right? We've got stuff ready to go. And yet I see, now the Empress and the Queen of Cups to me are both very similar. It's just that quality of just accepting what happens and not casting judgment and not allowing it to ruin your day. Even with the Hanged Man, I kind of see you consciously hanging yourself up on that tree and saying, you know what, I'm just going to elevate myself above the situation, because chances are I don't really need to be involved in this, right? Chances are I don't need to get angry about it. I don't need to be upset. Chances are I don't need to offer or voice my opinion, because what even is the point? Right? Chances are things are going to sort themselves out on their own. And I think they will. I don't know that you need to get in and meddle. I don't know that you need to get in and try to fix anything. See, the divine feminine energies of the Queen and the Empress here, they're not fixer energies. They don't hold themselves responsible things for that they're just simply not responsible for. They're not responsible for other people's reactions. They're not responsible for other people's problems, right? They're just going to let other people deal. And I look at this Knight of Cups and I actually kind of feel, I don't know why I feel like this is someone who's involved with this stuff. I don't know. They sort themselves out. They do. And I think it's because you hold your composure. You maintain your dignity. You don't get into the gutter when. Sometimes it's okay to do that. Sometimes you got to protect yourself. Sometimes you got to play the game, whatever. But this is not that time. This is a time of grace. And I think it's an example that someone needs, the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups needs your example in that. They need your example in breathing, really. It's take a step back and breathe and do a little meditation and just disconnect for a second. I think that by who you are this week, you are actually making a positive difference in someone else's life. And it doesn't need to be anything big. It's probably something that you don't even realize is happening, or you don't even realize matters to them. It's just something that, you do because that's who you are. And this is what I mean when I say, your true value as a human being is in your essence. And I see you just sort of living in your essence, just sort of emitting your energetic fragrance, if you will, by being calm and by being loving and by being compassionate. And that's something that someone really needs right now. And it's not, a turning a blind eye and forgiving the unforgivable or whatever. It's not like that. It's just giving someone the space to mess up, to get caught up in ego, to get dramatic, and not be punished for that, and not be punished for being a human being. And I think that's the grace that actually could really set someone on a new trajectory. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Saturn return, age. See, there is a maturity for sure coming through, without question. You've elevated above the drama because you've realized and learned over the years that there is no point in that. There is no productivity. There is no glamour in that in any way, shape, or form. And so, and I'm thinking of Saturn with the scythe and how he often represents endings and harvest and things. It's almost as though this is a moment that it's kind of a turning point for you, I think, where you realize how it's like the awareness of the awareness. The awareness of how in control you actually are. The awareness of how your mind really works, because you're going to see people who have no idea how their mind works. They have no idea how their ego is operating. They have no idea. But because of your willingness to grow and to heal, you've reached that point where you're starting to see that you're different now. And it's not like, oh, stroke your ego, pat you on the back, look how awesome you are. It's like, no, you've just gone through the journey that many people find too painful to go down. And it's becoming ridiculously obvious to you at this point. You may feel very separate. You may feel isolated or lonely. But I'm telling you, you're making a difference in this Knight of Cups life for sure. You're very close to achieving your goal. And your commitment is being tested. Now, I didn't look at these cards ahead of time, so I'm going to switch track here just a little bit to kind of accommodate these messages. You're very close to achieving your goal. Now, perhaps the Five of Wands, Five of Swords is in relation to something that you're trying to do, right? Like I say, it's a travel thing. It's something you're trying to get your family to do. It's something you're trying to get your spouse to do or whatever. I feel like even though there's this little blip on the radar, it's not really hindering progress all that much. And the commitment that's being tested here is more than anything the commitment to your inner peace. Because from inner peace stems so much creative energy, right? There can be conscious creation at that point. Conscious creation. Now, we're always creating, whether we're conscious of it or not. But conscious creation is a totally different animal. And so your commitment to your inner peace, your commitment to your love and to your compassion and to your being is ultimately what is going to win the day, if you will. You're going to get what you need. You're going to get where you want to go. You're going to be able to do those things. There's nothing holding you back there. And don't think Five of Swords, that temptation to do that is going to be there. That temptation to say, oh, it's not going to work out, or, oh, this is such a problem, or, oh, this, or, oh, see, what's interesting about this week and the past couple of weeks really is I felt like any kind of quote unquote obstacle is so short-lived in the grand scheme of things. It may feel like it's taking forever while you're in it, but in the grand scheme of things, you're going to look back on and be like, oh, it was just a week, or it was, just 10 days or something. It was like really a short period of time. So it's not like there's like this whole long drawn out thing. Helpless and hopeless, darkest fears. That's the temptation. That's something is trying to pull you into these vibrations, fear and helpless and hopeless. This is what you're elevating yourself above. Like I can't see you playing this game. I can't see you, like you're too mature for that. Saturn return. You've been around the block. Energetically, mentally, consciously, healing wise, like you've been around the block. And these vibrations are about giving up your power, whereas the Queen of Cups with the Empress are about maintaining your power. And again, this is a choice point. I think a lot of us are being given these pretty significant choice points of like, what are we going to do? And the universe is not, I'm not going to say it's testing us. I don't usually like that notion very much, but it is giving us the opportunity to create something, and it does that by offering choices. So you have to consciously choose. So when a dark fear comes up, when you feel a little helpless or hopeless, or when you feel out of control, or when you feel at a loss of some kind, the real trick is, are you going to let that take everything you got? Are you going to let that own you? Or are you going to own it? Okay, now we have a discovery period and we have daddy issues. Okay, there could be some, okay, we are in Capricorn, Venus retrograde with Pluto. We've got the sun coming through there. We've got a Mercury preparing in retrograde in Aquarius, which will be coming back into Capricorn later on in the month. So the notion of father or authority or structure or caretaker, right? A masculine caretaker, are all on the docket here. And maybe one of the reasons why this is so tempting to go into this helpless and hopeless place is because of something from the past. But see, again, this is your opportunity to not let the past own you. And just because you had certain experiences as a child does not mean that you are going to continually be victim of those things. And you get to confront those things, you get to heal those things. And I like the word discovery period because I think that this is uncovering a new layer of understanding for you. It's uncovering deeper meanings of things. It's uncovering more information for you to really work with. And whatever this Five of Swords, Five of Wands situation is, it's going to be a great teacher. And if you can view it that way of saying, okay, I'm in a classroom right now, I'm just supposed to be learning. I'm just supposed to be learning. And by learning and observing, like one of the things in school that I actually learned very early on, like in college or whatever, was like, don't take notes during the lecture, right? Like just listen to the lecture. And you can go and you can read the books later and you can review the PowerPoint presentations and all that. Like you can do all that later. But right now it's just about watching. Just watch the lecture. Just watch the lesson and absorb all of it. And if you can know that you are in the classroom when you're in the classroom, easy peasy. Let it shine. See, in spite of this appearing like it's a time for dark fears and helplessness and hopelessness, it actually is not. This is a time of allowing yourself to be your best, to hold yourself on the Empress throne, and to know that that's where you actually are when you're there. Okay? Alrighty. Beautiful reading for you guys this week. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have a great week. Take care. Alrighty, pile number 3. Annie just adjusted here. You guys selected the orange Aura Quartz. I'm going to lay this over here. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have the Moon, 4 of Cups, 3 of Coins, 10 of Cups, the Devil, and the 8 of Swords. Wow, a lot of mixed energy. I have to come straight to the 10 of Cups though, because the 10 of Cups really is what we're learning so much. Like I'm even like going to start getting emotional, right? Because this is about joy. This is about your joy. This is about your happiness. This is about the things that put a smile on your face. And really we are learning so much about those things with this Venus retrograde going on in a very cold, harsh sign like Capricorn. I think we are learning a lot about choosing that vibration over anything else. Now, the Moon energy has a lot to do with security and safety. There could be a certain energy of fear sort of surfacing a little bit, or some subconscious, like new information from your subconscious is now becoming conscious, which could be energies in terms of restriction, or how you've held yourself back, or how you've denied yourself of certain things, or how you have told yourself some kind of a story that has prevented you from truly living in your own 10 of Cups. And I see with this 8 of Swords that there's a lot of mental activity, especially with this Mercury retrograde looming on the 14th that officially goes retrograde. So there is this quality of being hyper aware of how your mind and how your subconscious have been directing your life. Now, a lot of us have been on that healing journey for quite some time, so I'm not saying that this is anything particularly new, but I do sense that there are going to be some kind of breakthroughs for you. I sense breakthroughs because Capricorn offers us the determination to not be like, I don't know how to say it exactly. The way that my mind is saying it is not the best, but it's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to curse right now, but it's like, we don't want to be anyone's bitch, right? And we don't want to be that victim to ourselves, right? We're not going to play that game. Like the Capricorn energy, it's too good for that. It's too proud for that. We're not going to like let ourselves just be weepy and wallowy and allow this hollowness. Like, no, we're going to be determined to create and to have and to hold and to be this joy. And it's not about anything for you to do so much as it is the things for you to be. And I think acknowledging the mindsets, and again, I feel like it's a hyper awareness, like it's more so than it normally is. There's an accentuation on the mindset. There's an accentuation on the narrative that you have been feeding yourself in some way, shape, or form that has been resisting you to fully open your heart. Jupiter in Pisces is really going to be hitting this home for the next 5 months, and then later on in the year as well, as it retrogrades back into Pisces. It's like, you better be happy. You better believe. You better have faith. You better open yourself up. You better stop limiting yourself, because those limits aren't really doing you any good. And Capricorn is like, well, I'm too good to let my limits, I'm too good to let my limits hinder me. I'm going to keep going. That's why Capricorn with the goat, just keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing, right? It's just going to keep opening and opening and opening. And this 3 of Coins, I think, is really your creative spirit, your creative energy. This is a place for you to really get lost. It's a place for you to, do your hobbies, to do your passions, to do your, are you okay, baby girl? She's like, I think she's cold. It's that energy to be in the zone and to be so deeply rooted and so deeply connected in something that is much more mysterious than you, to be a channel for the divine. And I feel like this is really where the healing of these boundaries, these narratives, this is where the healing really happens. Because this 4 of Cups, I'm feeling like you're feeling a little bit numb, right? Like you can have good things in your life, but maybe you're not feeling so entirely like over the top appreciative. And there's this part of you that's like, yeah, but I really want to. Like I really want to feel that over the top, ridiculous, fairy tale happiness and full of bright color and like, I'm sorry. I really want to feel that way. I really want to see it. I really want to experience that. And things just might be kind of falling a little bit short. So you may have to create this magic somehow on your own. And you create the magic through channeling and through meditating and through being connected with your body and connected with nature and by I'm even going to say it, disconnecting from the world. I'll say it. Jupiter through Pisces, there's a lot of isolation that comes through there. And it is very healing to disconnect from the world, especially when the world is so ridiculous right now. I'll use the word ridiculous. Because you know in your soul, you know in your bones that that's not really the way the world really is. I even see you I want to see you working with your hands with the Three of Coins. Putting down the phone, getting off the computer. I'll take a hit on my YouTube channel if it just means that you guys can be on the Ten of Cups, right? Stop watching. Just go live and be connected with life. Be connected with your moments. 10th house. Oh, the world. See, what did I say? The world. We got the Saturn energy here with the devil. We got the 10th house energy with the world. I feel that the world has this influence on you. I'm not saying it's all bad or whatever. I mean, I know that, in the world we make money. In the world we meet our romantic partners. In the world we have a job. In the world we raise our children, right? I get it. But I also feel like there's something deeper that's trying to come through. And it's not like a spiritual thing so much as it is a more deeply connected with the world itself. But let's not mistake politics and culture and all that for the world. That's not the world. That's humanity. We're talking about the world, the earth, Mother Gaia, right? We're talking about the physical experience. We're talking about your bodies. And I feel like this is a week or a month rather where you can come into a deeper appreciation of your worldliness. A new start is coming. Things are turning over for you. Things are changing. Things are evolving. Doors are opening. And you know that. 10 of Cups, you know that. You're chasing rainbows here. And see, the thing is that people on the outside looking in will think, oh, how ridiculous, you're chasing rainbows. Don't you know you can never catch a rainbow? But you're like, well, I'm not trying to catch a rainbow. I'm just more than anything, maybe even trying to become a rainbow. I'm trying to become this beautiful light, this beautiful representation of my soul, Because of the determination with the devil here and your commitment, it's like the commitment and determination to the 10 of Cups. This is ensuring or guaranteeing that you will be there. This is why, I've hit so hard through 2021 and I'm going to keep doing it through 2022. Indulge in the fantasies, indulge in the fairy tales, indulge in the dreams, to never, ever, ever, ever limit or restrict yourself, even in the fantasy realm, because the creation of all things begins in the imagination. And if you have some sort of subconscious restriction going on, then you're always going to create situations that are restricted. And it's just going to be one after the next, and you're never going to get out of that cycle. Right? Take time to breathe out. Yes, 3 of Coins. Breathe. Create. Connect. This isn't about trying. This is about being. And I love this balance. And I feel that with the world, now we're in a Kala Sarpa Yoga right now, which means all the planets are on one half of the wheel, on one side of the nodes, rather. Okay? And when all the planets are on one side of the nodes, sometimes we can feel like the world is very out of sync. Okay, our world is very out of sync, where things are very overweighted in one particular area of life. And right now, this is about conscious balance, which is a little bit more difficult to attain because of the astrological environment, but it doesn't mean we can't create that within our minds, right? This is about finding and establishing peace, and taking the lead. And what's weird is that you are a leader in this. And sometimes that can be a tough pill for some people to swallow, because they're like, well, I'm not really leading anyone, or no one's really paying attention to me, or no one's, watching me do this. But that's not true. People are watching. People are learning from you. And I feel that you being the embodiment of the Ten of Cups, you by living in your own rainbow colored world, doesn't mean you're in denial of anything, although people may call you that. They may call you a little bit crazy. They may call you, oh, you're living in a fantasy. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I'd rather live in a fantasy, right? Because it's better up here, because I have love here, because I have color, because I have joy, because I have a big fat smile on my face, because I wake up every morning refreshed and inspired, and because I love to be alive. And by living your life in that way, see, we even have this card, play more. Play has been a theme. I feel like that word has been showing up over and over and over again in a lot of these readings. And it is about play. It's about playing with your life. Venus retrograde in Capricorn is really showing us the contrast between pleasure and work. Right? The good things in life and the drudgery type things in life. It's a very stark contrast. There's the things we really want to do and the things we have to do. And Venus, she wants to fully express. But she's learning a lot too, because it's one thing to have play, but it's a big difference to have like responsible play and irresponsible play, right? Two totally different things. And I think she's growing up here a lot with her retrograde in this particular situation. She's growing up, she's maturing, she's leveling up within herself and saying, okay, well, I can live well and good and great and happy and enjoy the pleasures of life without completely, railroading everything in my life too. She's not just going to always prioritize pleasure above absolutely everything else, but she's going to prioritize creating pleasure with everything that she does. Secrets involved. With this Mercury retrograde, it is possible that things are uncovered, especially with the moon here as well. Things come to light, things surface. And the feeling I'm getting is that you just say, great, let them surface. You just sort of let it happen. You let it come out. You let it come up. Oh, beautiful. Bobcat spirit. Life is a mystery. Life, when lived as though it is a mystery, can be really, really, really fun. Is the enjoyment of the mystery. A lot of people don't like that because they want to have so much control. There's a lot of that contrast, like I say, between having control over things and knowing things in advance and all that. But really, a lot of that is not necessarily real. A lot of that is a fallacy. And this is more playing with the mystery, playing with the day-to-day, playing with the opportunity to wake up and do something different, to shake up the routine, and you can still have some level or basic level of structure in your life, but to not let that structure completely rule your whole life. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.